Yo, it's all about realness. Ain't no time to dim that light. We were made to shine, so let's go. Oh, I gotta let it shine. No more dimming what's divine. I was born to be this way. Ain't no mask, no role to play.
Today, we're stepping into the labyrinth of decisions, not for us to get lost, but for us to be found and to become skilled navigators of our own inner compass. Because let's be real, life is a series of doorways, and each choice is a key. The question isn't which door do we choose, but more who are we becoming by choosing this? I want to welcome you to the Blustrophecy. I'm your host, Blue, and this is where I share my philosophy on divine alignment and authentic living. My mission is to assist you in achieving your resonance with your true essence, liberating you from illusions and guiding you towards transformational and intentional living. Let's get into today's discussion, beginning with the art of decision making, how you can go from overwhelm to alignment. Every single day, we are bombarded with choices. We have tiny ones like what to wear, what to eat, and then we have the massive ones, which shape our relationships, our careers, and even our legacy. But not all decisions are equal, and not all decisions require the same energy. Many of us fail to think about our decisions as actions, and subsequently, we fail to understand the depletion of energy from the consideration, from the contemplation, and the elimination of all the other choices that are required for us to make a decision. So, how do we make proper decisions? How do we align our decisions with our higher path? Not the default mode condition given to us through influences, propaganda, the shows we watch, the places we go. These things require us to make an examination of the decision making process. So let's break it down. First, we must consider our inner being, weighing wisdom, intuition, and logic. Because sometimes the best way to gain clarity is to simply lay it all out and apply the classic pros and cons method. Don't choose something simply because it's flashy, but make your decisions based on the fact that it helps you to become a better person, to be more honest, to be more true, and to be more authentic. Ask yourself, what uplifts me and my purpose? What activities drain me of my energy? Lay all of the options out before your inner sanctuary and ask, which of these keep me in alignment with my morals, with my values, and with my resonant truth? There's also the worst case scenario perspective, where you can ask yourself, if all of this goes wrong, if everything fails, can I live with the outcome? And if the answer is yes, then fear begins to fade and clarity, it begins to rise, allowing you to raise your intention, your expectation, allowing you to inch closer and closer to the obliteration of all your doubts, all your fears, all your confusion. Next, we consider the direction that the decision takes us, asking ourselves, is it on course with where we are headed? And does it align with our current path? Because every decision leads somewhere. And we must begin to understand this if we want to prevent the continuation of unwanted patterns. There are many decisions which can alter the entire course of our lives and take us into another orbit, sort of speak, and cause us to miss certain lessons on our current path, which also leads to repeating this pattern if something's left unfinished. So we can use the 555 reflection method. And in this exercise, we zoom out and we ask ourselves, how will this choice affect me in the next 5 minutes, in the next 5 weeks, in the next 5 months, and ultimately in the next 5 years? See, asking these questions and determining the effect that the decision has on our future will help us to analyze if it's the proper decision for us and if the timing is right. See, perspective, it is everything. Some things feel urgent, but are absolutely irrelevant. And others, they may feel subtle, but they will shift the entire trajectory of our future. Now, let's talk about decision fatigue and how you can begin protecting your energy reservoir. Your brain is a muscle, and yes, it gets tired. Decision fatigue is real. That's why routines are sacred. You can create ways to eliminate small, repetitive choices that you make every day. You can create systems for choosing what to eat, what to wear, and begin to protect your energy so that your energy is reserved for what truly matters. Many high performing individuals simplify their daily decisions not out of laziness, but as sacred discipline. They have learned how conserving mental energy for important decisions begins with not concerning ourselves with what we will eat or put on. They eat much of the same thing from day to day. And that goes the same with the majority of their attire. They just have a pattern of putting on the same thing. If you've ever seen Mark Zuckerberg, he wears that same t-shirt a lot. If you remember with President Obama, he wore those dark suits and the same tie most of the time because he wanted to conserve energy for more important, more vital decisions. And you can do the same thing. When you begin making your most important decisions early in the day, when your mind is clear, this is another way that you can avoid decision fatigue. You could save your best mental hours for decisions that require the most thought and imagination. Give your mind a break between major decisions so it can recharge. I know I take naps on days when I'm doing a lot of recording and recording these videos like this. Sometimes my brain gets so tired by 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon that it requires that I take a break and allow my brain to recharge. And I may sleep 2, maybe even 3 hours sometimes, depending on how hard I have been working that morning. There's also, you can take a short walk or just simply relax for a few minutes. This will help you to be able to make clear and more effective decisions. Consider adding exercise to your daily routine. This also helps you to make better decisions. One that I always recommend and I will continue to recommend is just mindfulness meditation. This is a very helpful exercise because mindfulness helps you focus on the present moment, to be in the now, reducing your anxiety about the future and regrets about the past. See, this clarity allows you to make more informed decisions while remaining calm and focused. Scenario planning is another exercise. Consider different scenarios and how you would respond to them on a regular basis. This exercise prepares you for unexpected problems and teaches you to think more flexibly. Consider just 2 or 3 minutes role playing in your head normal situations that you may deal with at work or during negotiations, and consider which ways you might need to respond, and questions that may come up that you may need to answer. Because when you have to make a real choice, it will be easier to clearly know why you're changing your mind if you need to, and to make wise decisions. This is always something that I practice doing. I review how my days could have been better, how I could have responded better, how I could have been more mindful in relationships, in business dealings. We can do it ahead of time and we can do it after. I recommend that you do both. So another way, and I don't practice this one. I tell myself I will, and I start doing it, and oftentimes it becomes difficult. But if you're somebody who can do this, it can be very effective. And that is to keep a decision journal. It's extremely effective. After you make a decision, you write it down, what you did and how you felt about it. And later, you review those decisions to see how it affected you so that you can learn from the experience. And I've done it a few times. I wish I've done it more consistently. And even now, when I was thinking about it and writing this, I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it again. And I genuinely love going back and reading when I made the decision and thinking about how sometimes I thought it was such a huge thing, but it ended up being not that big of a deal. And it's just a good way of keeping track of how you make your decisions and learning to make better decisions. See, this self-reflection, it allows you to identify areas for improvement while also strengthening what you find works. Now, finally, for us to navigate the maze of choices, we must have good plans, understand decision fatigue, and practice making decisions on a regular basis. Now, you can learn to make better decisions by employing the techniques that I've explained throughout this discussion: the classic pros and cons method, the 5-5-5 rule, the mindfulness meditation. You can keep a journal. Remember, it's really easy for you to begin to analyze your decisions, why you make them, how influence is impacting you when you understand the impact that decisions have on your life. And with the right mindset, you can confidently direct your life. Each decision reflects who you are becoming. Are you choosing from fear or are you choosing from faith? Are you choosing from alignment or are you choosing from avoidance? Are you choosing from your preconditioning and conditioned mindset? Or are you choosing from clarity of mind? Because when your decisions come from divine alignment, your life becomes less reactive and more intentional, less about survival and more about living out your sovereignty. So I challenge you: slow down, tune in, ask yourself deeper questions. Let your decisions serve who you are becoming, not just your survival. Become intentional and live on purpose, with purpose, and aligned with your divine purpose. I want to thank you for investing your time with me today. If this message sparked something within you, take it with you, apply it, embody it, live it out, and share it with others so that they can step into their truest essence of who it is that they're becoming, and they can step out of confusion and into their sacred clarity. And as always, I want you to stay aligned, stay awakened, and stay elevated, and keep raising your vibrations higher and higher through love, gratitude, and service. And I'll see you in the next video.
Shine, so let's go. Oh, I gotta let it shine. No more dimming what's divine. I